Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Alif Koyim bin Muhammad Salim. Before we start, I would like to mention that this group research is completed by three members, which are me, myself, AYMAN SYAFFIQ bin Muhammad FADHIL Samuel, and Muhammad AYMAN bin ZUHAILY. The title of the research given is Determining the Factors that Influence the Success of Online Purchases During Pandemic in the scope of Malaysian experience. So next is our research issue is online purchases during pandemic in Malaysia. The problems is derived for each factors. The first one is rules and regulation during pandemic. We found that no interstate and inter-district travels are allowed in Malaysia. People must stay at home if there is no immediate or urgent need to head out. Roadblocks were mounted and movement limited to 10 km radius. For online purchase platform, we found that almost 75% of customers would prefer that they want to engage virtually. Next, some of the scam websites use COVID-19 news for the financial incentives. Okay. Next is seller engagement. We found that many online sellers do not display the price and details of their product. Also, not having a consistent point of contact to talk to when dealing with a problem. As for geographical limitation, we found that panic lead to the increases of demand. So that is how demand affected the prices. Next is the panic situation lead to panic buying, which cause shortage of supplies. Okay. In gap of knowledge, we found that previous studies only cover the online purchases activity before the epidemic of COVID-19. Other research does not include geographical limitation and rules and regulation during COVID-19. We also found that mobile apps have only emerged in recent years, and research on the design characteristic of mobile apps in e-commerce retailing has just begun. Next, the main objective of the research is to determine the factors that influence the success of online purchases during pandemic. To be more specific, to investigate the relationship between geographical issues and the success of online purchases. To determine the relationship between online purchasing platform, to examine rules and regulation during pandemic, to study the seller's engagement, and respectively. The last one is to validate a proposed model. So, in justifications, we found that 90.1% of Malaysian households have internet access. Also, e-commerce industry contribute 8.4% to the GDP. And the last one is many consumers nowadays prefer to do their purchases online instead of offline. It can save much of their time rather than going to the physical store.
So next will be the significance of study. The first is to the industry. One of the most significant advantages of e-commerce is that it takes your business to the people where it is not possible for you to be present physically. Next is to the government. It increases tax, import and export, and help implementation of regulation. And the third one is to the community. It encourages people to break the chain of the pandemic and to successfully apply cashless payment in the community. Next is the scope of study. The first scope of study is Malaysian citizens, which comprises all citizens who live in Malaysia, both gender, single and married, student, employed, unemployed, and self-employed. The second is usage of online purchase platform, which are Shopee, Lazada, Zalora, and GoShop. The third is usage of online purchase. This comprises of Malaysian citizens that have made online purchases during the pandemic, but only the age between 18 and above. So these are the operational definitions. First is online purchasing platform, which is the type of e-commerce platform, payment method, and ease of use. Next is geographical limitation, which is the limitation of supplies, types of transportation, and shipping options. Next is seller engagement, which means promotion, communication, and product awareness. And the fourth one is rules and regulation during pandemic, which is the movement of order, which is MCO, and the standard operating procedures, which are the SOPs. Next is the review of literature. The three underpinning models that we will be using in this research is the impact of online purchase determinants on consumer satisfaction model by Vasic, Kilibarda and Kaurin in 2019. Next is the theory of planned behavior by Haslina 2021. And third is the users and gratification theory and pandemic fear model from Trend 2021. Next is the methodologies. We'll be using a questionnaire which is quantitative and in the form of a Google form. And we will have data collection, sample and analysis. The sample we'll be using is all Malaysian citizens except the age 18 and below. We'll be using probability sampling, and we recognize population and sample of 214 respondents. So here is our theoretical frameworks with four independent variables, which is online purchasing platform, geographical limitation, sellers engagement, and rules and regulation during pandemic. These all lead up to a independent variable or mediator, which is consumer level of satisfaction, and then it goes to the final dependent variable, which is success of online purchase during COVID-19.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad AYMAN bin ZUHAILY and I will be presenting about the conceptual framework dimensional and the next slides. So this is our independent variable, which are online purchasing platform, geographical limitation, seller engagement, and rules and regulations. And our mediator variable is consumer level of satisfaction, and our dependent variable is the success of online purchase during COVID-19. So next we move to the hypothesis. H1. There is relationship between online purchasing platform and the consumer level of satisfaction. H2. There is relationship between geographical limitation and consumer level of satisfaction. H3. There is relationship between seller engagement and consumer level of satisfaction. H4. There is relationship between rules and regulation during COVID-19 and consumer level of satisfaction. And lastly, H5. There is relationship between consumer level of satisfaction and the success of online purchase during COVID-19. Next is example of questionnaire. We will ask the respondent about their profile such as gender, age, marital status, and employment status. We will also ask about the independent variables such as online purchasing platform, geographical limitation, seller engagement, and rules and regulation. We will also ask about our mediator variable, which is the consumer level of satisfaction. And lastly, we will also ask about our dependent variable, which is the success of online purchase during COVID-19. So this is our results about our research. For demographic profile, majority of the respondent is female, 18 to 25 years old, student, and a single. For the reliability, the Chromebook Alpha score is 0.76 to 0.82. For the descriptive analysis, the mean and standard deviation is 0.81 to 1.97. And the multi-collineatory analysis correlation, the R is less than 0.8. And the inferential analysis hypothesis is testing. So this is our hypothesis testing for our research. As you can see, the Chromebook Alpha score are different for every hypothesis, and the significance score for the hypothesis are all the same except for H2, which is 0.006, and the results for every hypothesis are all the same, which is do not reject. Lastly, we will move to the practical implications and conclusion. The first implication that we made is design websites to be more user-friendly. Next is free shipping and express delivery order shortly. Next is increased security on online purchasing platform. And lastly, update users with product-related information. So for the future research plan, we add in a better understanding of the factors that influence consumer level of satisfaction, allowing consumers to make the online purchase become success and allowing the existing customers to continue making a purchasing online. Lastly, provide a guidelines to online consumers for better understanding on online purchasing. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you to Prof. Zadi for teaching us during this semester and also giving us information relating to this subject. Thank you so much and thank you again.